Okay, good afternoon, students. So the topic which I am going to discuss with you all today is the tropical desert. Okay, so in a previous video I had discussed the equatorial region, isn't it? And today I'm going to discuss with you is the tropical desert and tropical monsoonal areas, their climate, their locations, area, human adaptation. I'm going to talk about this. Okay, so in the previous video, as I said, I discussed the equatorial area which was located from 0 to 5 degree north, isn't it? And the vegetation which we have seen over there was the dense forest with a rich canopy, isn't it? And with a heavy rainfall also. And just after that, okay, from 5 degree to 15 degree north is the another vegetation, or the region, climatic region is there, which we call tropical grassland, or very commonly we also called it as savanna region. Okay, and this is also known as transition zone. Okay, now why it is a transition zone? Let's see that. In the equator, heavy rainfall, high temperature, so the evergreen forest is found over there. Heavy rainfall over here, isn't it? But as we move away from the equator, okay, from the equatorial areas, 5 degree to 15 degree north, there's a huge amount of clouds which used to form, but gradually the clouds will become very less in the 5 degree to 15 degree north, and the shower of rainfall will also be very less. Eventually it will not support your tall or the thick trees. Evergreen trees will not be present here. Despite of that, there will be huge area will be under the grassland cover. Understood? So that is the reason it is known as grassland, tropical grassland areas also. Okay, but the grasses will also be very tall grasses, up to it can grow up to the 5 meter in height. Now after this area, if we cross this latitude of 15 degree, then in those areas we will find is the tropical desert areas. Okay, in the latitude of 15 to 30 degree north and south both. Okay, so we will find tropical desert areas. So if you see this middle portion, the tropical grassland area is a zone of change, or a transitional zone in between the evergreen forest and the desert areas, or the thorny forest. Understood? Now the location of this tropical desert, as I said, it is from 15 degree to 30 degree north and south both latitude. There also the south latitude, north and south. So areas like the Sahara Desert in Africa, Kalahari in South Africa, okay, Thar in India, Arabian in the Arabian Plateau areas, UAE, okay, Peruvian in South America, California in North America. So these are some of the tropical deserts which are present in the world. Okay, now the question is why it is a desert, isn't it? Why it is a desert? That's the main question. Okay, how come this is a desert area? How desert has been formed in this area? Now reason behind that is the two reasons are there. One is the higher pressure and another one is the trade winds. Okay, these are the two factors which greatly influence the formation of desert in this latitude. Okay, now let me briefly explain like these two factors, how these two factors influence the formation of tropical desert in this area. Now as I mentioned that let us discuss briefly that how these two reasons, okay, the higher pressure and the the trade winds affect the formation of deserts. So as we have learned in the previous chapters, like the atmospheric pressure belts and the atmospheric pressure and the winds, in that chapter we have learned the formation of the the different pressure system in the earth's surface also. So I'm going to speak only about two pressure belts here, which is more important, that is a subtropical high pressure belt and the equatorial low pressure belt. Okay, how those pressure belts has formed. So listen carefully. Here the 0 degree, the direct rays of the sun falls, isn't it? So the air starts expanding, and when the air expands it becomes light and it starts rising upward. Okay, now as it starts moving towards the like ascending order, it when it ascends towards the higher atmosphere, due to the Coriolis effect or due to the rotational force of the earth, it will get deflected towards the both the 30° north and 30° south latitude. Okay, in the upper air circulation, like it's get deflected towards this 30° north and 30° south. Now here, as a result, what happened is when it gets deflected towards this latitude, by the time when it reaches that air masses, when it reaches the 30° north and south latitude, it becomes saturated, it becomes heavy. Okay, now that air masses, when it becomes saturated, when it becomes heavy, it will start descending downwards in this latitude, in the latitude of 30° north and south both. Okay, means from 15 to 30° north and south. Okay, it starts descending downwards in this latitude, and whenever there is an ascending air, there is a low pressure, and whenever there is an descending air, there is a high pressure. Now the rainfall, as I have drawn the diagram over here, isn't it? Rainfall, like very common, isn't it? In a common sense also, how the rainfall occurs, if we ask, then a small kid also will say, like due to the evaporation, when it goes up, it will form clouds, and then the precipitation occurs, or the rainfall occurs, isn't it? And that is damn sure, that is definitely correct. Okay, so here, whenever there is an ascending air, okay, whenever there is an ascending air, then the formation of clouds takes place, means the condensation process will takes place, and after the condensation, the precipitation or the rainfall will also occur, isn't it? So here the rainfall will occur. So in that case, the equatorial areas receives heavy amount of rainfall because here is an ascending air. But in the latitude of 30° north and south, where the tropical deserts are present, there instead of the ascending air, we have descending air. Okay, so that means there is no question of formation of the clouds. So if there are no clouds, there will be no rain also, isn't it? Now next is this, like area comes under the influence of trade winds. So this area comes under the influence of the trade winds. Okay, now when the winds blow from sea to land, then they will carry a huge amount of moisture, and that moisture will lead to the formation of clouds, and the rainfall will occur, isn't it? But in this case, what happens is, when the wind is blowing from high pressure to this subtropical high pressure to equatorial low pressure, the wind is blowing from land to sea. Okay, just opposite, from land to sea the winds are blowing. As a result, there will be like no moisture present in the wind will be very dry. Okay, so the dry winds won't bring any moisture, or the dry winds won't bring any rainfall. Okay, so here, because of these two reasons, like of the descending air, okay, and of the winds which is blowing from land to sea, okay, does not like produce or does not bring any rainfall in this particular latitudinal areas. So as a result, this area becomes dry, arid, okay, and ultimately the desert has been formed in this area. Okay, so this is the reasons behind the formation of desert in this particular area. Now let us discuss the climate. Now the climate here, during the daytime, since it's a cloudless, or the absence of cloud cover, okay, it's a cloudless sky will be present over there, since there is no condensation, no clouds formation, so definitely clouds will be absent from there. So due to the high amount, due to the the absence of cloud cover, huge amount of insolation reach this place. So the daytime will be 50 to 60 degree of temperature. Okay, but at the night time, again the temperature will drop to 10 to 11 degrees Celsius in this area. Okay, why? Again because of the absence of cloud cover. During the daytime, the cloud cover is absent, so huge amount of insolation will reach the earth's surface. Okay, and at the night time, again due to the absence of cloud cover, huge amount of terrestrial radiation will be escaping the earth's atmosphere. Okay, so making the nights cold and making the day hotter. So if you see the difference between the highest and the lowest also, we are getting 50 degrees Celsius of range of temperature diurnally. Okay, daily range of temperature is 50 degrees Celsius, so it's a high range of temperature. Okay, so deserts are cold at night. It's not like the deserts will remain warm at the night time also. Okay, so this type of climate we also generally term as continental type of climate. Okay, and since it's a desert area, here no rainfall occurs. Okay, rainfall, if it occurs, if like very low rainfall, scanty rainfall occurs in this area, and the annually 20 centimeter of rainfall occurs in this place. Okay, or in the desert areas. Next is the natural vegetation. Now since this area receives very less amount of rainfall, okay, and high amount of temperature is present, very high temperature like 60 degrees Celsius of temperature reaches this in area. So that means the vegetation which is found over here is xerophytic type of vegetation, drought resistance in other term, in a simple term if we say, okay, which can resist the the very higher temperature and can survive in the low amount of water also. Okay, so some of the adaptation of this means, because they have to adapt, they have to survive in this harsh climatic conditions, isn't it? So they have adapted according to the environment. So some characteristics of these xerophytic plants, like they have thorns in them instead of the leaves. Some of the plants have thorns. Okay, and even case if they are having leaves, okay, some of the plants, if they have leaves, then those leaves will be very small. Okay, because to lessen the process of transpiration, which is a loss of water, isn't it? So here, in order to lessen the process of transpiration, or to conserve water, the leaves are small, and it is waxy and sticky, leaves are present. Okay, now the roots will be very deep. Okay, the roots will be 2 times or 3 times longer than the shoots. Okay, because they have to go deeper in search of water. The next is the succulent plants. So the plants which are found over here, they are succulent plants, means they conserve water. Okay, they preserve water. Okay, and this kinds of plants are called are found, or this characteristics plants are found generally in the desert area. This kind of characteristics, okay, are found in the arid and semi-arid regions, where the rainfall is very low, around 20 to 25 centimeter annual rainfall. Okay, and the human adaptation in this area, now basically in this kind of harsh climatic condition, it's very difficult to adapt, and the human settlement is also very low in these areas, and few primitive tribes like Bushman and the Bedouin tribes are found over here. And now, due to the advancement in technology and in agriculture, due to the irrigation process and all, some of the areas has been brought under the cultivation also. Okay, and now due to the the discovery of minerals, okay, valuable minerals like diamond and the gold in some of the desert areas, in the tropical desert areas, even mining settlers are also present over here. Okay, so this was the human adaptation of the tropical desert region. Now I'm going to move on to the next your season, or the climatic region, next climatic region, that is the tropical monsoon. Now tropical monsoon. Okay, now monsoon, it's an Arabic term, derived from Arabic term, which means Monsoon, means change of season. Okay, or the Mausam also, what we say, isn't it? Change of season. Okay, so now this also falls on the tropical areas, and it also shares the same latitude like the tropical desert region, that is 15 degree to 30 degree north and south both. Okay, but it is highly developed in the Indian subcontinent areas. Okay, like the neighboring countries of India. Okay, and even the Myanmar area, and the Indonesian archipelago, they are highly influenced by the tropical monsoonal region. Okay, so basically over the Indian subcontinent area, it is highly developed. Now this is because this is associated with the change of seasonal winds. Okay, the tropical monsoonal areas. Okay, now let us observe how those seasonal changes, or the seasonal winds, they change. Okay, so it all depends upon the apparent movement of the sun. Okay, this all occurs because of the apparent movement of the sun. During the summer, the sun shifts from the equator towards the Tropic of Cancer, And during the winters, the sun again, like from Tropic of Cancer, it will start moving, and it will move towards the Tropic of Capricorn areas. Okay, now with this apparent movement of the sun, what happens over the Indian Ocean is there a highly seasonal winds, or the change of seasonal winds occur. Okay, now due to the movement of the sun, the pressure belts, or the formation of the pressure system also, or the shifting of the pressure belts also occur. Okay, so during the summer, see here this image, during the summers, when the sun is shifting towards the, or when the sun moves towards the Tropic of Cancer, okay, the direct rays falls over the Tropic of Cancer. Direct rays falls over the Tropic of Cancer. Because of that, low pressure is generated over the Indian subcontinent areas, or the northern plains of India. Okay, whereas the Australian areas will be in the high pressure condition, because these areas will be receiving the slanting rays of the sun. Okay, so here the temperature will be low, so which will lead to the formation of high pressure here in the Australian areas, and low pressure over the northern plains of India. And the low pressure is also, like, it will be very intense low pressure present over there. High, like the low pressure conditions will be very severe. Okay, so which will attract the winds which are blowing in the southern part of the equator. That is the trade winds, again south trade winds. Okay, now this will cross the equator. Understood? Cross the equator, because these are attracted towards the low pressure. Okay, so this will cross the equator, and due to the Coriolis force, it will be deflected towards the right and will enter the Indian subcontinent. Understood? So since it will be traveling all over the Indian Ocean, it will carry lots of moisture in it, and it will moisture in it, and it will enter India with lots of moisture carrying, and showers a huge amount of rainfall in India, which we normally term as rainy season here in India, isn't it? So which is also called monsoon season also. In other terms, we also call it as monsoon. Okay, so in a very common term, we call it as rainy season, isn't it? Now this sun, okay, or the sun will not remain in the Tropic of Cancer forever. Now the sun will slowly start shifting towards the south, and gradually it will cross the equator, and like on the 22nd December, it will be shining vertically again over the Tropic of Capricorn. Okay, making the condition just opposite which was in summer. Okay, so here the low pressure will be replaced by the high pressure here, and the higher pressure here in Australian area will be replaced by the low pressure. Now the winds again, which has entered India in the summers, will start leaving India during the winters. Okay, and it will cause like rainfall over the northern parts of Australia, and over the Indonesian archipelago. Like during when we are enjoying the the winter season, they will be having showers, or they will be having a rainy season. Okay, so in that way, due to the apparent movement of the sun, the tropical monsoonal region is also formed. Now let us discuss the climate. Just now we have discussed the the formation, or how the tropical monsoonal region is created. So the climatic condition over here during the summers, the temperature reach up to 45 to 50 degrees Celsius, and during the winters it reach up to 10 degrees Celsius also. Okay, so there is a range of temperature is also very high. Okay, and this type of climate we also again term as continental type of climate. Means the summers are very hot and the winters are very cold. Okay, the rainfall, the average rainfall in this area is around is about 100 centimeter. Okay, but there are places which receives 1200 centimeter of rainfall also annually, and which is the highest rainfall area in the whole world. That is the Monsoon Ram also falls in this monsoonal region. Okay, and there are places which even receives 25 centimeter of rainfall annually. Okay, so natural vegetation, if we say about this place, now since the rainfall varies in this area, which some receives 1200 centimeters, some receives 200 centimeters, some 100 centimeters, some less than 50 centimeter. Okay, so we find various types of natural vegetation also. So with the rainfall, the like natural vegetation varies. Okay, the area which is receiving more than 200 and 250 centimeter of rainfall will have evergreen forest. The area which is receiving less than 200 centimeter or 75 centimeter, we have deciduous forest. And in case if the rainfall is very low, scanty, less than 50 centimeter, then it also have thorn forest also. Okay, next, if we talk about the human adaptation of this particular place, then the most important occupation of the people over here is agriculture. And the agriculture, the type of agriculture which is followed in the Indian subcontinent areas or in the monsoonal areas is subsistence agriculture. Okay, subsistence agriculture means the cultivation which is done by the farmer is for their own consumption, for their sole consumption. Okay, no surplus is left or no surplus is there in the agriculture, okay, like which they can sold in the market. What they produced, they consume themselves. So some of the characteristics of subsistence agriculture is the plot of land is very small. Generally the farmers are also very poor. Okay, they cannot use machines or scientific tools, and tools which they use are also primitive tools, old fashioned tools they use, and whatever they produced is there for own consumption. No sell, no surplus is left for the sell in the market. Okay, so these are some characteristics of the subsistence agriculture. But nowadays, due to the advancement in technology in like in agriculture, like cash crops are also grown, as well as some of the plantational crops like tea, coffee, rubber are also grown in the monsoonal region. Okay, so these are some of the the areas or some of the regions which we have to focus, that is the tropical equatorial forest, then the tropical deserts and the tropical monsoonal areas. Okay, rest of the regions which are present in the book is not necessary, it has been excluded from the syllabus this time. Okay, so with this we come to the end of the chapter, and if in case if you have any doubts, then you can ask me in the group. Thank you.